What is going on, everybody? It's your observant lineman, Uche Nwaneri here. And that escalated quickly. Wow. Tom Pelissero is reporting from a source that John Gruden just informed his staff that he plans to resign as the Raiders head coach. Now, I honestly had only read a little bit about this John Gruden situation. I didn't necessarily know all the details. I was literally getting ready to record on the latest article from the New York Times in regards to the situation with John Gruden, just to kind of, inform myself a little bit about what's been going on. But apparently, things have spiraled so out of control in regards to these email leaks that he is now resigning as the head coach of the Raiders, and that is going to be a huge blow for the Las Vegas Raiders. This is something that is clearly going to have a massive effect on this franchise. And this is really cancel culture kind of stepping to the forefront in the NFL. Let's just go ahead and go right to it. The New York Times dropped an article that is detailing even more email leaks about John Gruden. Now, to start, the email that it was initially leaked was an email where he made some disparaging comments about NFLPA chairman DeMaurice Smith. And he made these comments more in a racial epithet than just a, oh, I don't like the guy kind of tone. He talked about how big his lips were, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I'll be honest, I can't stand DeMaurice Smith myself, but, you take it one step too far and that can cause issues for you, especially, being a white head coach. But this is going to bring up a very, very serious question, that really has to be answered once again, because there's not really, we don't know how to really approach this as a society at this point. This is an email from 10 years ago. 10 years. Does that mean that this is the same perspective? Does the individual still have the same perspective today as they did 10 years ago? It's funny because you find that some will argue that, no, a person is not the same person over a 10-year span. You change, you learn, you evolve, you become a different kind of person over the course of 10 years. And some will say, no, you are who you are, and it doesn't really matter whether or not you maybe don't say the same things that you said 10 years prior. You probably still think the things that you said 10 years prior. I'm not one who can really make a call on that. I don't really know where it stands because I'm 37 years old right now. Am I the same person that I was when I was 27 years old? Absolutely not. Do I have the same perspectives? Absolutely not. Do I use the same language? Some I do, some I don't. But I feel like it's, should that cost a person his entire career at that point? Should it cost them their job at that point? I don't know. I can't, that's a hard call to make. I think there's a lot of different variables that go into that. But let's take a look at this article from the New York Times, because there's more things coming out in this article in regards to the situation with John Gruden. It says Raiders coach emails included homophobic and misogynistic comments. A trove of emails in a separate workplace misconduct case show Raiders coach John Gruden went beyond previously disclosed racist comments to issue broad tirades. When the vaunted NFL coach John Gruden was confronted with a racist email he sent in 2011 to insult the head of the players' union, he said he went too far and didn't have a blade of racism in him. But league officials, as part of a separate workplace misconduct investigation that did not directly involve him, have found that Gruden, now the coach of the Las Vegas Raiders, casually and frequently unleashed misogynistic and homophobic language over several years to denigrate people around the game and to mock some of the league's momentous changes. He denounced the emergence of women as referees, the drafting of a gay player, and the tolerance of players protesting during the playing of the national anthem, according to emails reviewed by the New York Times. Yeah, that's not good. First off, I kind of have to say, denounce the emergence of women as referees, that's just kind of a dickhead move. Let's be honest. I think women are fine as referees. They can be referees just fine. It's not like the referees that we got now are actually that good. The guys are making the terrible calls. can't do much worse if you bring women into it. It's not like not like they're going to just, make blown calls all game. We get that enough already. I think that that's totally unnecessary for him to really denounce women as referees. I mean, they don't really, that's not really a thing to really get mad over. The drafting of a gay player. I mean, come on. He's probably drafted a gay player that he didn't know was gay in his career. So what are you talking about? That mindset that he has, if these things are true, that mindset is a pretty useless mindset. So, just my opinion. And then, of course, players protesting during the national anthem. I mean, this is something that has been beaten to death by the media and by people who are for or against for the last 5 years. I don't have any desire to relitigate that here. So, Gruden's messages were sent to Bruce Allen, the former president of the Washington football team, and others while he was working for ESPN as a color analyst during Monday Night Football. Oh, he wasn't even a coach when he was doing this. The sports network's weekly primetime telecast of the NFL games. In the emails, Gruden called the league's commissioner, Roger Goodell, oh, crap. Call him an F word, but maybe not the one you're thinking of. And a clueless anti-football vag. Holy shit. And said that Goodell should not have pressured Jeff Fisher, then the coach of the Rams, to draft rhymes with beers. Wow. A reference to Michael Sam, a gay player chosen by the team in 2014. Wow. This is really bad. This is really bad. Shit.
I'm not going to judge your journey. It is your fantasy, just as long as you're... Wow! Okay!
Shit. In numerous emails during a 7-year period ending in early 2018, Gruden criticized Goodell and the league for trying to reduce concussions and said that Eric Reed, a player who had demonstrated during the playing of the national anthem, should be fired. In several instances, Gruden used a homophobic slur to refer to Goodell and offensive language to describe some NFL owners, coaches, and journalists who cover the league. Jeez. Gruden, Allen, the NFL, and the Raiders did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Although not with a team at the time, Gruden was still influential in the league and highly coveted as a coach. He had won a Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2002, a Super Bowl that really he won off the back of Tony Dungy. Tony Dungy built that team. Tony Dungy was the one who actually constructed the culture of that entire organization, that he came in and in 1 year won one Super Bowl because he didn't have to do nothing. And in 2018, he was hired for his second stint as a head coach of the Raiders franchise, which includes defensive lineman Carl Nassib, the first active NFL player to publicly declare that he is gay. The league said last week that it shared emails with the Raiders in which Gruden made derogatory comments. Gruden told ESPN on Sunday that the league was reviewing emails in which he criticized Goodell and explained that he had been upset about the team's owner's lockout of the players in 2011 when some of the emails were written. Gruden said in that interview that he used an expletive to refer to Goodell, and that he did so because he disapproved of Goodell's emphasis on safety, which he believed was scaring parents into steering their sons away from football. What a bitch-ass cop-out. Man, get the fuck out of here. I'll tell parents right here and right now, your kids should not play football until they're in high school. If you want them to, function as an adult when they get older. Putting your kids in football any younger than high school in full contact football or 7-on-7, I don't care. Either way, to me, is irresponsible because they're going to get hurt. They're going to be receiving a lot of head trauma in that time, and that can affect them in their life. So, think about that. Consider those things if you're a parent with a young child who wants to play football. That's I'll tell you that right now. But Gruden's behavior was not limited to 2011. Gruden exchanged emails with Allen and other men that included photos of women wearing only bikini bottoms, including one photo of two Washington team cheerleaders. Okay. Gruden also criticized President Obama during his re-election campaign in 2012, as well as then Vice President Joe Biden, whom Gruden called a nervous, clueless vag. He used similar words to describe Goodell and DeMaurice Smith, the executive director of the NFL Players Association. The league is already investigating Gruden as a result of another email he wrote to Allen in 2011, which he used racist terms to describe Smith, who is black. In that email, Gruden, who is white and was working for ESPN at the time, criticized Smith's intelligence and used a racist trope to describe his face. The correspondence was first reported by the Wall Street Journal. The league, Smith, and Mark Davis, the owner of the Raiders, all denounced Gruden's comments, but the coach thus far has not been penalized, and he coached his team in its game on Sunday against the Chicago Bears. Gruden said Friday that he did not remember sending the email. He did not remember sending the email and that his language went too far. And adding, quote, "I never had a blade of racism in me." Who, I don't believe that shit. Gruden's email to Allen, who was fired by the Washington football team at the end of 2019, were reviewed as part of an NFL investigation of workplace misconduct within the franchise that ended this summer. Goodell instructed league executives to look at more than 650,000 emails during the past few months, including those in which Gruden made offensive remarks. Last week, Goodell received a summary of their findings, and the league sent the Raiders some of the emails written by Gruden. In the exchanges, Gruden used his personal email account while Allen wrote from his team account. In some cases, Allen initiated the conversations and Gruden chimed in, while in others, they traded vulgar comments several times. Wow. Some of the emails between Gruden and Allen also included businessman friends Ed Drost, the co-founder of Hooters, Jim McVay, an executive who has run the Outback Bowl annually held in Tampa, Florida, and Nick Reeder, the founder of PDQ Restaurants, a Tampa-based fried chicken franchise. The exchanges begin as early as 2010, while Gruden was an analyst for Monday Night Football, and in 2018 he signed a 10-year, $100 million contract to coach the Raiders. Ooh, they're going to want some of their money back. I know that. Drost, McVay, and Reeder did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Gruden and Allen are longtime friends and colleagues. Allen was a senior executive with the Raiders in 1995 to 2003 when he worked with Gruden, who was head coach of the team from 1998 to 2001. Gruden became the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2002 and beat the Raiders in the Super Bowl that season. Allen became general manager there in 2004. Allen and Gruden both left the Buccaneers in 2008. While Gruden moved on to the broadcast role with ESPN, Allen became general manager of the Washington team in 2010, and later the team's president. Taken together, the emails provided an unvarnished look into the clubby culture of one NFL circle of peers.
How would you describe the culture surrounding this football team?
You know, the culture is actually damn good.
Where white male decision makers felt comfortable sharing pornographic images, deriding the league policies, and jocularly sharing homophobic language. Allen, who was the son of legendary coach George Allen, and Gruden, whose father coached at Notre Dame and whose brother Jay was head coach in Washington from 2014 to 2019, are part of an exclusive network that cycles between NFL teams, networks, companies affiliated with the league. Good Old Boys Club. That is what these individuals are part of. The Good Old Boys Club. That is something that truly exists if you ever doubted it. It's clear as day here. Now, take a moment to just kind of give a little bit of my perspective here on how I really feel about what I'm reading and what's coming to light about John Gruden. He's a piece of shit, clearly, as far as his perspective on other people goes. His language, how he sees people, how he views certain instances or certain situations as they evolve in the NFL are completely fucking old school, good old boys, country club bullshit. You can disagree if you like, but hey, I lived it. You didn't. I think it's fair enough for me to say that and be confident in saying it. Does this warrant a canceling of sorts? Well, he's resigning as the Raiders head coach, so he recognizes exactly what he's up against. And I'll be honest, I feel like this is one of those cases where, yeah, this is a cancellation that is completely warranted, because that kind of perspective that he has, that kind of perspective he has laid out, That's not the kind of perspective that necessarily changes in just 10 years, really about 9.5. You got to ask yourself if this is the same guy who coached teams full of majority black men, who then goes behind their backs in those same years he's coaching or in years when he's off from coaching and talks about black men in that way, talks about homosexuals in that way, talks about, the commissioner of the league in that way. He called Roger Goodell a pretty ugly slur. Called him a pretty ugly slur. And then, when asked about it, of course, he says he doesn't have a racist bone in his body. Well, it's kind of hard to believe that. It's kind of hard to believe that, John. Chucky, it's kind of hard because your words, your emails, they speak a little bit differently. Differently. Now, again, this is something that this is a league full of African-American men. And if that's how he feels about us, I'll say us as in the players, then he don't need to be in our league. He can go do something else. They've been living off that good old boys club shit for a long ass time in the NFL. And we all know it. We all seen it. We all heard it. From Jerry Jones to John Gruden to Dan Snyder. You don't believe in any of the players that you say you believe in. And we found out. You don't like change from the good old boys club. And we found out. So now, time for you to go. Do we think he's really changed? No, I wouldn't say that. I mean, come on now. Teaching old dog new tricks like him? Nah. He is who he is. He's a little fucking weak-ass quarterback school. We all know Gruden is who he is. I'm only slightly irritated in this because he is so blatantly a fucking piece of work. I'm sort of indifferent to it to a certain extent, but I wouldn't want him in the NFL at all, to be honest. Wouldn't want him in the NFL at all. I don't think he deserves to be in the NFL. 10-year, $100 million contract. Well, let's have a look at his emails of the last, 12 months. I honestly, as he was dealing with the whole situation with Antonio Brown, I would love to have a look at some of the emails he sent from that period because I'm sure there'd be a lot of the same in there. Feels like it would be. I heard his conversation with Antonio Brown, even though that was recorded without his knowledge. Wasn't, this was not a guy who I feel like really, truly believes in some of the things he likes to say he believes in when it comes to the culture of football, because he does not in any way represent it when you look at his emails. But John Gruden, he is now resigned, or there's a source saying that he is resigning as the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. This is huge news. I think that after looking at this article, there's a lot to kind of set the stage for some real issues for John Gruden. But let me know what you guys think. Leave your comments down below. Hit the like button if you like this video. Subscribe to the Observant Lineman Uche Nwaneri if you haven't already done so. I appreciate you guys for checking out this video, catching us up on everything going on with the breaking news behind John Gruden. I will catch you all on the next one. Peace.